Hey guys, it's been a while. 2021 has been another interesting year for me. This year featured some of my highest highs and also some of my lowest lows. But without wasting any more time, let's talk about what happened to Stephen Clark in 2021. Let's start the story right where we left off, the 2020 video. As I was uploading that video, watching the upload bar slowly trickle towards 100%, I had a realization. I wanted 2021 to be my best year on YouTube yet. In 2020, I laid down the framework to do amazing things this year. I built up my name in the Canadian scene by doing some voiceover work for the top Canadian players videos, as well as uploading the history of Sepid and the history of Arov. However, in 2021, I wanted to appeal to the OSU community as a whole. I had already done this to an extent with the good, the bad, and the ugly, but in 2021, I wanted to become a mainstream YouTuber. As I was waiting for my 2020 video to upload, I had a sudden realization. I knew what video I wanted to make. The history of Everything Will Freeze. I knew that videos on OSU maps were popular, and I knew that I could use my summoning salt style narration and music choice to make an engaging video. Plus, Everything Will Freeze is an iconic map in the OSU community, and yet no one had made a video on it thus far. So I got to work immediately. I opened up a Google Doc on the 1st of January 2021, and for the next 2 days I dedicated my entire life to this video. I had this thought in the back of my mind that if I hesitated for even a second, someone else would upload this video before me. I know it's a stupid mindset, but hey, it made me productive. And I ended up publishing the video the next day, on the 2nd of January 2021. I thought that this video would either get no views or it would do insanely well. To January 2021 Steven, insanely well meant around 50,000 views, but I thought that might be too ambitious. I just hoped people wouldn't flame me for making a terrible video or something. Well, the video definitely performed above average. In the first day or so, the video had accumulated 500 views, which was very good for my standards. Spaza17 had watched my video on stream and he seemed to enjoy it, but he also watched the good, the bad, and the ugly on stream, so I wasn't incredibly excited yet. This was all standard for me. It wasn't until BTMC, the #1 OSU content creator at the time, watched my video on stream, that I started to freak out. I had set myself goals at the beginning of 2021 to achieve by the end of 2021. One of those goals was to reach 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Well, I achieved that goal 6 days into the year. The video went from 500 views on January 3rd to 50,000 views by January 13th. Remember how I said a minute ago that I thought 50,000 views was a bit ambitious? Yeah, I hit that after 10 days. On the 14th of January, I hit 2,000 subscribers, doubling the goal I'd set for myself for the end of the year, only halfway through the first month of the year. It was also around this time where I unlocked the community tab and monetization. The community tab allowing me to talk directly to my subscribers. I got to work on another video as soon as I could, this time taking inspiration from one of my friends who suggested I do a video on Genryu Kaiko. A few days later, the video was done. The immediate success of that video blew Everything Will Freeze out of the water. It had amassed over 1,000 views within the first hour of it being uploaded. However, it never quite picked up that traction in the same way that Everything Will Freeze did. Don't get me wrong, it did better than any other video I'd uploaded up until that point, but it seemed that the history of Everything Will Freeze's success was one of a kind. The month ended with the release of the top 20 Canadian players of 2020 video. While I didn't make the top 20, I was an honorable mention, and my name and profile picture were featured in that video for everyone to see. I also did the narration for Ukase, who came in 10th in the voting. I was also asked to edit the top 20 Brazilian OSU players of 2020 video, which is pretty random, but I felt really good about doing community projects like that. In terms of OSU performance in January, it was lacking, but that was alright. My YouTube success more than made up for it, and besides, I'd gotten my peak rank of 414 in the world in December of 2020, as well as my top play at the time on the 21st of December. I was doing just fine. February was when I decided to slow down with YouTube for a bit. I uploaded one video in early February, a short video explaining Score V1. I had made a similar short video in 2020 about follow points, and I really enjoyed making that kind of content. Naturally, it didn't do anywhere near as well as my Everything Will Freeze and Genryu Kaiko videos, but that's okay. I didn't care about the numbers too much. Speaking about numbers, they were quite large. By the start of February, the history of Everything Will Freeze had surpassed 200,000 views, and by mid-February, my channel had hit 5,000 subscribers. Honestly, saying those numbers then, and even now, I can't believe they're real. It's insane to me how many people can watch one of my creations and enjoy it. I also made a collaboration video with acrawford69 about the sadly now patched negative SS glitch on the OSU website. It was another one of my end of the year goals to collaborate with a fellow content creator, and I checked that off in the second month of the year. Finally, the coolest thing that happened to me in February was when Etienne shouted me out in a video with Tokaku talking about Usu content creators.
I feel like there's not enough risks being taken with Osu content. My favorite content creator, Osu content creator at the moment, Stephen Clark, by far.
He mentioned that I was his favorite Osu content creator by far. That gave me the motivation I needed to work on a new history video, but this time of a player. I managed to interview the player, asking them a few questions I needed to make the video, but I was a bit burnt out from the hectic month of January, so I took a break until March. March 2021 was when I started to get back into the game itself. On the 2nd of March, I got the first ever FC on a map called Dona Dona no Uta. On the 15th of March, I got a 4-miss 99.71% accuracy run on Alternator compilation, which got me to level 102 in-game. I always treasured level milestones, since they rarely ever happen after level 100, which I achieved back in 2019. On the 17th of March, I got my best score ever up until that point, a hidden hard rock 1-miss on Amazing Break, with 99.12% accuracy, getting number 3 on the leaderboard. This is one of those scores where you send it to an Osu server and everyone just stops what they're doing to say, whoa, nice score. It felt good to get that kind of recognition for a score from my peers. On the 20th of March, I was unlucky enough to have to face Zudinator in the Maple Cup, a 1v1 Canadian tournament. Now, I obviously didn't win, but I actually won a map against her, and a clip of her drawing an Among Us character on me during the tiebreaker we played for fun now has 2.7 million views on YouTube. So that's something, I guess. Finally, on the 22nd of March, I got another one of my all-time favorite scores, a hidden hard rock 1-miss on Kamino Kotoba, with 98.94% accuracy. However, I didn't upload a single video in March of 2021. This would signal the beginning of the downfall of the Stephen Clark channel. I began working on that YouTube video about that player I interviewed. I started writing the script, but I realized I was being way too detailed. So I scrapped the entire thing and started over again. This time I was more happy with the script, so I recorded the voiceover and began editing. I got around halfway through before I realized I wasn't happy with it either, so I scrapped it again and started from scratch. This process of writing something and then scrapping it the next day because I didn't think it was that good happened several times throughout March of 2021 and beyond. I don't know why, but I physically could not make this video. I think it was my perfectionism from my past 2 history videos or something. But I felt guilty uploading any video other than this one because I'd promised the person who organized the interview between us that this video would be made and it would be amazing. April 2021 would mark the peak of my Osu career so far. In mid-April, after 2 years of playing Osu with a broken tablet pen, I decided to finally replace my pen, and the gains were noticeable. On the 25th of April, I would get my best Osu score of all time. The first SS on Raruchi's map set of Chinese Restaurant. The perfect blend of this being a popular map and the fact that no one had ever SS'd it before in the 4 years it had been loved made this my best score of all time. Literally the next day, on the 26th of April, I got my highest PP play ever, an FC on Sidetrack Day Sojourn collab, worth 658 PP at the time. I also uploaded a video on April 8th, 2021 about Emrek getting the number 1 spot on the performance leaderboards from Whitecat, who had held the number 1 for the longest consecutive period of time in history. This is honestly one of my favorite videos. I thought it was really cool uploading a video with no voiceover, just a Chopin piece in the background that, in my opinion, perfectly matched what was happening on screen. I guess it showed that people can tell a story with just classical music and visuals. So far, everything was going great in my life. I was happy with my YouTube career, despite the fact that I could not finish this history video for the life of me. I was also happy with my Osu career, seeing as I got both my highest PP score and my best score within days of each other. The same could not be said about May 2021. Now, if I could give one piece of advice to any player now, it would be not to compare yourself to other players. This also means no seeking others' validation for your scores. You should find enjoyment out of the game yourself. I learned this lesson the hard way in May of 2021. I can't tell you why it happened. I'm not sure if it was a seasonal depression thing or if I was just so used to praise from my 2 previous pop-off months that I expected it normally, but in May, I just wanted someone to tell me, I'm proud of you, Steven, you're doing great. Obviously, I didn't ask people to say these things, because that's a stupid thing to ask. I just bottled my emotions. I got 2 pretty cool scores in May, a 1075 combo 99% run on Teo, and a 1-miss on Imprinting, which are still some of my better scores. I guess I wasn't happy that people barely cared about those scores in comparison to my other, better scores in earlier months, so I rashly decided to leave every OSU server I was a part of. I felt like no one in the community really cared about me, which I know is a really stupid thing to think, but that's how I felt at the time. To top it all off, I choked what would have been my first and only 700 PP score.
Podwójne racje? Świetnie.
That one was rough. Now, this month would have been a lot worse, but I met this girl, and I'll talk more about her later. June was another difficult month to get through. It was the last month of my high school career, and we were all online. I was so demotivated during this time that some days I just did not get out of bed, because I couldn't see the point of it. I relied on the generosity of others to help me with assignments because I wasn't paying attention to the lectures. I was too distracted by the thoughts of summer and feeling sad that my last year of high school was online. I also regretted leaving all of those OSU servers because now I really was alone. And to top it all off, at my school, I was a top 4 valedictorian candidate. Out of a graduating class of around 350, that should be an amazing accomplishment. And it was, but I wasn't voted for either the valedictorian or salutatorian positions, meaning I was the bottom 50% of votes. It was a slap on the face to top off a year filled with being slapped in the face. I only got one noteworthy OSU score this entire month, that being a hidden double time FC on the original remote control with 97.63% accuracy for 528 PP. Little did I know, that would be one of the last times I would gain PP in 2021. I fully put YouTube on the back burner in June. I didn't care about uploading a video once. You see, when you force yourself to do something, no matter how fun it may be, it becomes a chore. I didn't want YouTube, my favorite outlet of creativity, to become a chore, so I didn't put any pressure on myself to upload videos. But remember how I talked about this girl? Well, she was extremely supportive of my valedictorian run, and even though I didn't win, she was still very proud of me for pushing myself and representing my school well, though not officially. From that day forward, we began talking daily. It was nice being able to talk to someone about my feelings and having someone that I knew I could trust. My birthday was on the 25th of June, and I told one of my other friends on that day that I might have feelings for her, and he gave me his approval that we would be good together. So we kept talking, and I kept that in the back of my mind. I also graduated from high school in June. I ended up getting a few awards, including the honor roll for maintaining an average above 80, the honor roll with high honors for maintaining an average above 90, a French certificate for being one of 10 brave souls who took French for all 4 years of high school. It's only mandatory in our first year in Ontario. And leadership award for my work in my first year of high school and for being an active community member. I might not have been valedictorian, but it was nice to hear my school give me recognition for being a leader. So at this point, I completely stopped caring about OSU or YouTube. I was just living my own life as an 18-year-old high school graduate, focusing on my future university career and my friends. I was still talking to this girl, and on the 5th of July, after watching a movie with me, her, and some friends, she calls me telling me she actually had feelings for me too. I said, okay, this is cool, this is natural. This has definitely happened to me before, so many times in the past. I will be an adult about this. And I hung up the call and screamed into my pillow for half an hour. A few days later, we were official. Alright, well, back to YouTube for just a second. I'd gotten an email in May from an executive over at Gaomon asking if I could review a tablet for my YouTube channel. While I'd never made any gameplay videos on this channel, I was a top player, so I figured I could do a good review. Plus, who hasn't heard of Gaomon? I thought this would be a good opportunity for my channel. So I said yes. I received the tablet in the mail, and I made the video for July 12th, when Gaomon had a sale going on. So I gave the tablet to my now girlfriend Maya, who got hooked to the game. She started grinding OSU, and watching her enjoy the game just like I did many years ago, gave me an appreciation for the game, but a different one than before. I stopped playing for PP. I didn't really care that I hadn't gained many ranks in 2021. Instead, I just played to have fun, just like I did back in 2017 when I created my account. Now, I want to be clear, I didn't stop uploading videos because I had a girlfriend. It was just that getting a girlfriend made me reevaluate what I prioritized when I was single. I couldn't just spend all day playing OSU by myself and editing and recording videos. I had to become the best version of myself I could be. So obviously I did still play, just not as much as I did before. Rather than attempting the same PP farm map for hours at a time, I placed several different songs in short sessions just to have fun. Having someone there to motivate me to be the best person I could be honestly made my 2021 2021 alright. Obviously, I don't want to talk so much about how great it is not being single anymore because, I don't want to be that guy. So I'll just say this. My girlfriend is pretty much the main reason why 2021 was as good for me as it was. In terms of YouTube, well, you and I can both see my upload history. We both know that I haven't made any videos since that Galmon tablet review. It's not that I wasn't thinking about YouTube during this break. I was just distracted by other stuff, like school. September marked the start of my first year at university. I currently go to the University of Toronto, Mississauga campus for computer science. A funny thing about U of T's computer science program is that even if you get into U of T for computer science, you can't actually major or specialize in computer science until your second year. You need to maintain a certain GPA and get certain grades in certain classes before you can get accepted into U of T's computer science program. How many people pass this process, known as POST, which stands for Program of Study? Less than 40% of first years. Great. Oh, and the best part is, they don't tell you the specific grade requirements to pass POST until it's too late to retake a program. We have a general idea looking at previous POST requirements, but they can change. So, here are the stresses that I had to go through over the summer and in September. I had to pick courses with virtually no help from my parents. None of them are computer scientists. I had to pay for my tuition. Luckily, I got a good entrance scholarship, but paying my fees with the scholarship money was a whole other can of worms. Make a good timetable. Say goodbye to my girlfriend who is going to school in Ottawa 5 hours away, and manage 5 courses worth of assignments to maintain a certain GPA to be among the top 40% of my peers. Phew. I figured it was impossible to balance a long-distance relationship, a full 5-course student workload, and OSU, so I decided to quit OSU for the time being until things slowed down. I also didn't think about YouTube at all during this time, since I figured school was more important than making videos. Although I do regret not saying something to my channel before I departed. October marked the first month of my university studies, and things have been going pretty well up until this point. I was taking an elective, that being cinema class, and the people in my class were so pretentious and the readings were so complicated that I just decided to make the class pass or fail. It wouldn't affect my GPA if I got a bad mark, I just had to pass. I was also taking an intro to programming class as well as a differential calculus class, both of which weren't giving me any trouble yet. I had a writing class, which went about as well as any writing class ever goes with me, which is I do decently, but I hate my life while in that class. And then I had a discrete math class. If you guys don't know what discrete math is, good. I had to get around an 80 in that class to pass POST, at least according to previous year's POST requirements. It was so different from high school math that I really struggled at first. It also didn't help that my professor didn't really teach us, so I was pretty much on my own for that class. My relationship was going well. Having a girlfriend to talk to about my problems really helped me out a lot of times when I was under stress. I also made a calendar with every assignment due date, and while it looked daunting, it helped me to stay organized so I never missed an assignment. I also started playing OSU again. In fact, I played the most OSU in October than I had played since June, although I didn't really get any notable scores, because I wasn't trying to go for them. I got a 500 PP play, giving me PP for the first time in 4 months, but it was on a stupid farm map. I also got some decent runs on some stream maps, but they were only good for Twitter clips, not actual PP or anything like that. I was slowly learning how to enjoy the game. And then comes November, which was my best OSU month in a long time. On the 2nd of November, I got a Hard Rock FC on Choir Jail with 99.34% accuracy for 578 PP, which was my highest PP play since my top play on Sidetrack Day back in April. I'm gonna be honest, while I stopped caring about farming in regards to playing TV-sized DT jump maps, it felt good gaining a few ranks. I also had 2 amazing scores on November 7th, one of which being a Hard Rock 1 miss on China Dress Disruption difficulty with 99.52% accuracy, one of my favorite scores of the whole year, as well as a 6 miss Hard Rock no fail run on the last journey home, getting the number 1 spot on the Hard Rock no fail leaderboard. However, this momentum came to a grinding halt with the PP rework. Now, I understand that the rework was actually beneficial, giving PP to rhythmically complex maps as well as finally making sliders worth PP, but it hurt to lose 100 ranks and 700 total PP. It made my rank equivalent to what it was in June of 2020. But then the next day, I would get a 630 PP play on Quawar with Hidden Hard Rock, getting 1 slider break and 98.82% accuracy. This was one of the maps buffed by the rework, and while it did get nerfed to 575 PP over the coming days, it showed that I still have what it takes to get PP. This rework completely killed my motivation to grind hidden double time jump maps. They mean nothing to me anymore. Instead, I decided to focus on becoming a bit faster. On the 30th of November, I got a hidden double time FC on Basara with 98.54% accuracy. The accuracy might not be the best, but this was a play I wouldn't have been able to do any time in the past, so it showed that I haven't reached my limits yet in this game. And in terms of school, I was doing fine. My intro to programming and differential calculus classes were pretty much reviewed from grade 12, and while I didn't pay much attention in grade 12, I knew enough to get by in those classes without much effort. My cinema class involved me paying just enough attention to pass, and that was it. My writing class was the same as October, with me putting in a bit of effort and doing decently well. In terms of that discrete math class, my hardest and most important class, I was doing fine in it too. There were a few hiccups with some harder units, but overall I was able to teach myself the material just fine. My relationship was also doing well. We were helping each other out during stressful times, and we spent a lot of time together over Discord. Sure, it would have been nice to see her in person, but you can't win every battle, I guess. And that leads us to December of 2021. My first exam season at university. Honestly, they weren't that bad. I did well enough on my cinema exam to pass the course. I did pretty poorly on my discrete math exam, which really freaked me out, but I ended up with an 80% flat, just barely making the hypothetical maximum post requirement. Hopefully. My intro to computer programming exam went very well, and I'm at a 90 in that class. My writing class ended a bit on a sour note, but I still ended with an 81. And as of editing this video, I don't know what my final mark in calculus is, but I presume it's anywhere in the high 80s to low 90s. In terms of OSU, I decided to switch to full alt for the first time, after being inspired by a Canadian player by the name of Thunderbird2678, who I really respect and admire as a player. I noticed his speed buff pretty quickly, and I was able to get scores like a pass on the nature of dying with hidden double time, and getting a 97.99% one slider break run on Night of Nights, Nausea is Insane with double time. That Night of Nights difficulty was one of the first maps I ever played on OSU, so being able to do it now with double time was really cool. Old Steven would be proud. In terms of notable scores other than that, I didn't really get any this month, but that's okay. I realize now that you don't need to get insane scores every month for it to be a good OSU month. Instead, I've noticed a lot of progress in terms of my speed, and that means more to me than any good score. So with all that out of the way, I had time to focus on YouTube, finally. And I had two video ideas. One of which is the video you're watching right now, which, let's be honest, I would have made anyways, and I have another idea, which I'll upload at some point in the near future, but now with my girlfriend to motivate me and push me to edit, that's a promise that I can actually follow through with, so stay tuned. And that leads us to today, Christmas Day. I can say that despite a few hiccups in the middle of the year, I actually had a good 2021. And for those of you who didn't and who are looking for a fresh start in 2022, here are some tips that helped me get through this year. First of all, don't do it alone. I know that not everyone's capable of having a significant other. Believe me, after 18 years of being single, I know that. But it doesn't have to be a romantic interest. Just have one solid friend. I know you guys can manage that. I mean, if you're watching this video, chances are you play OSU, so you already have a head start and can find so many people with at least one common interest. Just don't be afraid to share your burden of life with others. It can make life a lot easier. And take things one day at a time. If you're trying to improve at a new skill and you notice you're doing worse today than you were yesterday, that's alright. That doesn't mean all of your training was for nothing. Everyone has rough days. If it has to do with school, well, looking at your schedule might be daunting, but there are 24 hours in a day. And 99% of the time, that's more than enough to finish assignments as long as you stay focused. Now, I know these are very generic, but that's what helped me get through the year. And I think I'm running out of time. I'm sorry I've been so absent this year. I've honestly just been really distracted. I can't guarantee if I'll be more consistent in 2022, but I'll give it an honest effort. Thanks for watching. Thank you guys for 10,000 subscribers, by the way. I can't believe I haven't mentioned that up until this point. 10,000 subscribers is absolutely insane, and I thank each and every one of you who hit that subscribe button over the years. Thank you all, and I'll see you next time. Take care.